All right, let's get started on Week 17, Cowboys versus the Giants. This should be really the Cowboys are just trying to get through this game uninjured. Once again, we cannot wait to get to the playoffs soon enough. But as a 14-1 team, you really want to get to 15-1 so you can tie the Chicago Bears with that all-time 15-1 record. So with that in mind, I think again I'll probably rest Emmitt Smith. I'm not sure. I don't want to rest him too much. I want him to get his carries in so that he feels revved up and ready to go for the playoffs. So I guess I'm going to play it by ear as I go through the Cowboys-Giants game. Oops, I accidentally simulated it. Well, let me find out if anyone got injured. And if not, I'll just accept the simulation. Not predictable. Wow, I lost Ron Harper. Not Ron Harper. I don't know who R. Harper is, actually. I don't have Brock Marion. Brock Marion's okay, and Darren Woodson's okay. So R. Harper probably really hurts my special teams. Sucks that Nate Newton's gone. I'm just going to live with the fact that I simulated that Giants game. I want to know what my record is. Maybe the Giants just rolled over and died. Let's see here. Well, yeah, I want to get back to the season. Oops, I'm in the playoffs, so let's go back to the playoffs. Wow, so I don't know what my record is. Let's just go continue the playoffs. It's the wild cards. So the playoff schedule might hold some secrets. Well, I don't get to look ahead yet. Alright, so let's just simulate it. This is the wild card round. We'll find out who won. Alright, it's the division finals. It's a rematch that I really expected. Eagles and Cowboys. I've been preparing for this ever since the Eagles won that game on 2 fluky special teams plays. My plan is to score a lot and not give up fluky special team plays. That's not much of a plan, but maybe if I have to get extra blockers for my punt returner, or maybe I just don't return punts. If I don't return punts, then I would have won that game against the Eagles, and my Cowboys would have been undefeated going into the playoffs. Instead, I'm just going to run the ball with Emmitt Smith a ton and run up the score and do all my latest learned tricks on defense and not return punts. I think the most dangerous thing I can do is muff punts against these guys. All right, let's get started. This is playoffs football. So the Eagles beat the Falcons to be able to play the Cowboys. Lions and Packers play the 49ers. I would not be surprised if I play the 49ers or of course, I'm going to play the 49ers or the Packers in the NFC title game. I have to say that I actually hope I play the 49ers because, once again, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, they're my biggest rivals in the 90s, and I want to pound on those guys. All right, let's get started. Team matchups. Well, they have their great running back, Ricky Waters, but I'm really favored talent-wise across the board, which I can accept. So I should be able to beat these guys. So I'm going to mostly not blitz. I'm going to rush 4 men. I'm going to try to help my secondary as much as I can. Because, of course, my biggest weakness is always deep passes down the field. Ricky Waters is their best player, so I have to be careful about their halfback gashing me up the middle a lot. They have a lot of good running backs, actually. Deuce Staley is their 3rd running back. But again, it's the muff punts that lost me that game. So I just have to play my game. That was a great job by Kevin Smith, or is that Brock Marion, number 28, that made that tackle. I am sitting a blitzer, just not very many. Didn't take me long. Man. That was one of those plays where it's 3rd and short, but they did something that took them too far back in the backfield. On a 3rd down play, I'm seriously aggressive against the backfield. So pitching it out wide and trying to run it like that is not good. All right, so it's time for me to cancel my punt return. You're no longer doing that. Let's see what they do. Everyone back off. Alright, so starting at the 4, that's a real drag. I do have Emmitt Smith. I'll probably be okay. That was a great job of following blockers, just staying right behind the butt of my guard and tackle. Alright, now we're back at the 20. We can settle in and start playing our normal play calling, which means eating play clock. Alright, they appear to be in a zone. So I'm going to line my wide receiver up on this cornerback so I can block him. He has to get there before I can hike the ball. Coach messed that one up. Did not hike the ball in time. This time they're in a man. So I'm going to bring the defender over to the right rather than even bother blocking him. Emmitt Smith made that dude miss. That's pretty remarkable. Alright, if you know the way I call plays, it's a halfback wham. Boy, they know the way I call plays. So I'm going to audible to a pass. This is going to Michael Irvin. I think it's time for a good halfback toss. Now, the halfback toss has the right guard pull out and lead Emmitt Smith on his run, and the risk is that a defender can blow through that hole and catch up to Emmitt Smith. So Emmitt Smith has to be fast enough that the guy behind him can't catch him, while still trailing his guard. Wow. His guard caught those guys, but Emmitt Smith wisely turned it back inside to gash him for 7 yards. Alright, so the Cowboys are just going to let the clock expire. Oh, the play clock runs down. Maybe we'll run it out of single back. No, let's run it out of a double halfback shotgun next time. I am thinking a halfback toss to the right. When you have these sort of anti-run formations and then you line up in a wide receiver passing formation, you can sometimes catch them flat-footed by having your halfback just quickly go out to the right, like this. Although Emmett still evaded that one tackler in order to get the first down. Halfback wham. You know what? They're going to defend it. Let's see if it works anyway. Whoa. Oh. Falling down. Bumbling and stumbling. Man, this is the playoffs. You better bring your A game. They're in a run defense. They have 8 men in the box. They're blitzing their safety over my tight end. Hold penalty, I think. Not good. So that's my backup guard. I can't be too angry. He's substituting for Nate Newton, who's out injured. All right, first and goal on the 18. I'm going to run behind Larry Allen. I just think that works, no matter the down and distance. Wow, Emmitt Smith just like blew right by a tackler as he lunged at him to get those 9 yards. Alright, I'm going to run right behind Larry Allen because I'm dumb as a doorknob. Maybe I am dumb as a doorknob. So, my only chance of this play working is if they're actually going to drop back in the zone unexpectedly. Which they actually did. Oh, but it didn't work anyway. That man beat his blocker, peeled off, and caught Emmett before Emmett could really get any steam going. You know, in third and goal on the 7, you kind of have to pass it. This route combination has enough short routes that I'm going to throw it to the wide receiver on the right. There's enough short routes that I should have some options. That was kind of miraculous. I didn't think Troy would get rid of the ball fast enough. I thought that the wide receiver might have been out of bounds. It took him forever to get open. The Eagles jammed him the whole time.
And it's good.
But it looked like the wide receiver pushed the Eagle defender out of the back of the end zone before he turned around and came back for the pass. I also thought the Eagle defender that was covering my tight end was in perfect position to defend against that play, but he failed to do so. So I'll just chalk that one up to Troy Aikman. Also, my leading tackler is the guy that's hurt. My leading special teams ace. That's really lame, but Brock Marion is a much faster player, so it's the playoffs. It's time to get my best kick coverage team out there. Anyway. In real life, Brock Marion was so fast, he was the kickoff returner, in addition to being the safety. Pretty good for a 7th round pick.
24.
I'm sticking to my very conservative theory. I'm going to mostly rush for. I don't know why they called that timeout. They must have really hated their formation. Or maybe they were worried about the clock. They should have snapped the ball. I don't understand why they called that timeout.
24. 24. 30.
I don't know if that was me. I took control of Deion Sanders at the last moment to try to give myself an edge. I might have gotten my hand in there. That might have been the computer controlling the cornerback. Irving Fryer was a really good wide receiver for the Eagles, but Deion Sanders is an all-time great. Maybe I can get my offense the ball back. Unbelievable. It's not even the 2-minute warning. Those guys misused their timeouts and totally failed to wind down the clock appropriately. Oh yeah, I forgot I wasn't going to return punts against the Eagles. Wow, it's not even the 2-minute warning yet. Well, since it's not the 2-minute warning, the Eagles might not be in pass suppression mode, so I can catch them flat-footed with bad defensive backs on the field. I am throwing it to Michael Irvin. Whew. Boy, I got lucky. I thought that hit the cornerback in the belly. Alright, so the Eagles are crowded on the wrong side of the field. I am always running to the weak side, but they always seem to crowd the strong side. I suppose one reason the strong side is usually crowded is because they want to cover my tight end in addition to having linebackers there to block. So they cover the tight end with their safety, and he comes down and covers them, crowding that area. Boy, Emmitt Smith gets you everything you need. Oh no. That guy caught up to Emmitt in the backfield. That'll hurt Emmitt's totals. Wow. It's a mistake not to throw it to Michael Irvin. It's probably always a mistake not to throw it to Michael Irvin. Pass interference at a good time. They shoved my wide receiver out of the way, and it's a spot of the foul ball. Spot of the foul. Yeah, you place the ball at the spot of the foul in pass interference in the late 90s. Really lame, actually. I hated the way you could get yards by like 50 at a time based on a ref. We're talking about whole field of position, trying to draw a penalty, not even trying to catch the ball. Alvin Harper was really good at drawing penalties out of that. That was kind of warbly. I vacillated between throwing it to B and C on that play, and it might have shown up in the strength that I threw it. Alright, this is a square in, but I'm going to try to lead my wide receiver to the outside. Whoa. Go, dude. Oh, they got there in time. That is not how I drew it up. Alright, I want to do the curl drag. I'm going to do it to the opposite side of the field. So I got more green space on the left. So open! That was ridiculous. And there was no one around him at all. Alright, you can't run the out and up because it takes too long to develop. Uh-oh. Hope I can get the play called in time. Don't have any time to scan the defense. Ooh, who's hurt? David LaFleur. Oh no. Is it another dislocated kneecap? That would be freaking retarded. Excuse my language. But I have two players with dislocated kneecaps. In real life, the 2013 Cowboys ended the season with about as many injuries. or I should actually say twice as many injuries. I like the quick fade, mostly because Michael Irvin runs a short route. And it's not short enough.
Incomplete.
Man, these plays have been really crappy. I'm setting my fans back. I have one more time for a play. Let's see what I can figure out of the curl drag. All right, they basically had one defender on Michael Irvin and another, and he was doing a zone, and I had two receivers in the area that were basically blocking him off. That defender would have been helpless. Michael Irvin could have pushed him down while the other dude caught the ball.
And it's good.
That would have been the very rare offensive pass interference. All right, this is good. I have no time left. Excellent. End of half. Okay. I have owned time of possession. I have a shutout. I have 80 yards rushing. Let's see what individual performers are doing. Troy Aikman, 5 of 10, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 of 3 for Ty Detmer, 8 yards. Emmitt Smith has 11 attempts, 57 yards, 5.1 average. That's really good. I'm going to keep riding him. Moose Johnson, 2 attempts, 16 yards. Ricky Waters being held to negative yards rushing. All right, let's finish this. All right, this is my chance to try to, let's see if I can hang on to the ball the entire second half. Well, if I keep getting big yardage, it's not going to happen. The trick to running out the clock in one half is to only gain 3 or 4 yards a play. So if my yardage is too big, I won't be able to do it. Alright, let's see here. What can I do? Let's try a single back formation. Although I never like removing Daryl Johnson from the football field. But maybe with fewer players in the backfield, I can actually call a halfback counter that doesn't break down. I'm running this counter to the wrong side. They are in a man defense. So I'll go ahead and line my tight end over there. That's the first counter that worked the way it was intended since early in the season. I hit my turbo speed too soon, and Emmitt Smith went straight out of bounds. I think he could have gotten more yards holding. As long as the clock's running. I don't want to get away from my 21 personnel. That is 2 tailbacks, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. I think it's a great combination for the Cowboys. They had Jay Novacek, or I guess at this point, Eric Bjornsson and David LaFleur, although in this game he's hurt right now. they had them at tight end and they had Moose Johnson at fullback, and that was a great combination of F and Y backs. Not Y. But that was a great, it actually is a Y. So Michael Irvin was the Z, and I guess this Alan Miller is my X. And then Jay Novacek's running the Y routes, and the Moose Johnson, he's running the F routes, the F back routes. Those F back routes tend to be like third. The defense would evaluate them as the fourth most likely route that the quarterback's going to go to, making them usually the fourth pass option for a reason. But oftentimes you'll run plays designed to clear out the middle of the field with your wide receivers that make it easy for your fullback to catch huge chunks of yards. So that's why I like the 21 personnel. One tight end, one fullback, one running back, two wide receivers. It's probably the best combination of talent that the Cowboys have. Halfback toss to the left. There's a lot of green space. Hoping my blockers get there. Whew. Well, this was such a remarkable Emmitt Smith's kind of drive. I want to run it in to finish the play. Oh, I didn't go out of bounds. He tackled me in bounds. That's cockamamie. Just follow your blockers. It works when your blockers are good. Not every team has good blockers. And then I don't know what you do. You have to make it up as you go, like Barry Sanders did.
And it's good.
All right, this is a very solid playoff performance so far. If I can get them to pass 4 times in rapid succession and actually break up those passes, I mean, I could shut out the Eagles. I would love to shut out the Eagles. They're my divisional foe. That's a good start, but I really want to do a 3 or 4 and out. I think I can do a 3 and out because the computer will rationalize punts up until the 2-minute warning most of the time. So I might be able to force them or trick them into punting so I can get the ball back and run out the clock. Oh no. Well, if they're catching that, I'm not going to be able to put them out. Alright, they seem to realize maybe there's not much time on the clock because they're running a very aggressive offense. They have 4 wide receivers. They're going to be throwing it looks like. They might still do a draw, which I would be vulnerable to because I've lined up like this. So I kind of like doing my cornerbacks in zones. Often I'll call them man defenses, but my cornerbacks are really, really good. And they have a chance to get sacks if I put them in zones. Oh, I was going for the interception, not for the pass interference. I dove. I should have gone, I don't know, I must have hit the wrong button. I have to figure out what the right button is. Fortunately, it drew a flag, and it was my fault. Very clearly. Alright, this is a slant left. I'm moving 92 out, so he'll slant left into the tackle. Sweet! That was a case of me taking control of Brock Marion and having him dive, which I know how to do. I don't know how to make him catch an interception, but I had him dive, and that put him in position to catch that ball right as it got there. That was really just fortunate timing. Alright, let's get the ball out of the end zone. Seems like we started the last drive here. There's really just no two things about it. I'm just going to run straight forward. I only put 3 wide receivers on there just to give them an incentive to have an extra defensive back. But I was always going to run it. Oh, and they got pancaked. The defenders, the only Eagle defenders that could have stopped that play from developing, ended up on their butts. You're not going to win playoff games in the fourth quarter on your butt. All right, I'm going to run to the right since my team has gotten all the way to the left side of the field. Let's run it back to the right. I like to alternate, give my running back more greenery to run to. Power weak can work really well. What makes it vulnerable, and if you look really closely, you can see it has a guard that pulls and goes behind the tackle and leads my running back. What makes it vulnerable is that the tackle has to crash down on this hole and seal it off and make sure no defensive end can come up here or a linebacker and blitz through this hole and catch my running back as he runs right past that hole. So that hole is very vulnerable. Hopefully I can get the play off. 3, 2, 1. Nope. It's extra vulnerable when you don't call the play in time, but I'm still going to run it. Power weak. So I don't think they're running the play clock after a penalty, so I might as well just snap the ball. So again, you see I am sticking with my 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 fullback, 1 running back. If you really look at how this offense uses the fullback, you should evaluate him more as like a tight end. I mean, he's almost interchangeable with the Y route runner. Cutting it back inside. Have my fans gotten bored? Is that what's happening here? I am just like defeating the Eagles and no one's like, they're like yawning in the audience. Alright, I'm going to let the 2-minute warning come. Quiet settles on the crowd. Looks like the Cowboys might be able to get a shutout after all. Why aren't my fans going nuts though? They should be just cheering like crazy. I guess they're being smart. You're supposed to be quiet when your team's on offense, so the offense can effectively communicate. You want to be loud when your team, but they're not even cheering my first downs. It's ridiculous. Alright, play clock. And that one brilliant Brock Marion interception gives us the shutout. I think my fans are starting to realize that the end of the game is near. Alright, that's all their timeouts. It is time. from my favorite formation in all of football, the victory formation. And now I can just let the clock expire. I'll call the next quarterback kneel when more play time has round down. I like to not leave my team on the football field in a formation before I hike the ball for too long, because a penalty can crop up. Unless I'm trying to draw the defense off sides, or sometimes I notice the defense is between formations, and then I'll hike the ball real quick so that I can catch them out of position. Alright, that's it. That's the end of the game. Let's let the clock expire. Let's go out there on the field for the end of the game, so our fans can cheer us. And they can see us all very clearly in the middle of the field.
44, 34.
Well, I kicked the Eagles' butts to open the playoffs. I don't know how the Eagles got this far in the playoffs. 17 minutes of ball control. That is how you destroy someone. 231 yards rushing, 78 yards passing. Preposterous. 4 of 7 on third down. I never punted, so those others must have been touchdowns. And I got 1 interception. That was a big play. I had quite a few. Yeah, I had those pass interference penalties. Those pass interference penalties really were a drag. Troy Aikman, 6 of 11, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ty Detmer, only 2 of 6. He only had 6 attempts in the game. Emmitt Smith had 27 attempts and 196 yards, 7.2 average. That's terrific. It's a outstanding performance in the playoffs. I would have to say the Cowboys probably look like they're going to be favorites in the NFC title game. They probably were coming into the playoffs. Ricky Waters was held to negative yards rushing. They had 1 yard rushing total. 1 yard? Let's go double check that. They had 1 rushing yard. That is how you win in the playoffs. You stop the run and you run the ball. They certainly didn't stop the run. I mean, this was like college football. It was ridiculous in a way. All right, that's it. Let's save this and progress to the next playoff game and see what we are. Packers and the Cowboys. I'm a little disappointed 49ers couldn't get over the Packers. Just like it happened last year. In real life, the Packers beat the 49ers to advance to the 1996 Super Bowl, where they beat New England. And then the next year, the Packers advanced to the Super Bowl again, where they were defeated by Denver. Although, obviously, Denver's not going to be in this Super Bowl, because in the video game, Denver didn't even make the playoffs. So, Cowboys-Packers. In real life, it was actually Packers versus the Panthers. You might remember towards the end of the season, the Cowboys totally smacked the Panthers in the video game. But in real life, the Panthers made it to this title game. So I'm looking forward to this game. We'll see who wins the AFC title game as well. And then we'll see the Super Bowl. So we're only 1 game away from the conclusion to this whole season. All right, it's very exciting. And talk to you next time with the conference finals on the line.